There are moments when you do something good, and before you even enjoy it, you wonder if anyone noticed. Maybe you worked hard, but no one said anything. Maybe you stayed calm when someone tried to upset you. Maybe you helped someone, solved a problem, or reached a goal, and still a small part of you wanted someone to see it. Not because you are weak, because you are human. We all want to feel that we matter. We want our effort to be noticed. We want people to respect us. And sometimes, without even knowing it, we begin to build our strength around the eyes of other people. We speak a little louder when we want to seem confident. We defend ourselves when no one has truly attacked us. We feel the need to win an argument. We show what we have achieved. We explain why our choices were right. Slowly, strength becomes something we perform, and this is where something strange happens. The more you need others to see your strength, the more their opinion begins to control it. If they praise you, you feel strong. If they ignore you, you feel smaller. If they question you, you feel the need to prove yourself again. Now your strength is no longer fully yours. It depends on a reaction outside of you. There is nothing wrong with being appreciated. Being seen can feel good. The problem begins when being seen becomes necessary, because when you need attention to feel valuable, silence can feel like rejection. Taoist wisdom points toward a different kind of strength. In nature, the strongest things do not spend their time announcing what they are. A tree does not need to prove that it is tall. A river does not need to argue about its power. It simply moves. Maybe real strength is like that. Maybe it does not disappear when nobody is watching. And if that is true, then we have to ask something deeper. Why do we need to be seen so badly in the first place? The need to be seen does not always look like pride. Sometimes it looks like confidence. A person walks into a room wanting to appear strong. They speak with certainty. They want the right answer. They want respect. They want others to know that they cannot be pushed around. But underneath that image, there may be a quiet fear. What if people do not respect me? What if they forget me? What if I am not as important as I want them to think? This is where strength can slowly become a performance. You begin to watch people's faces. You notice who agrees with you and who does not. Praise feels good. Criticism feels personal. Being ignored feels painful. And soon, you are no longer simply living. You are managing an image. You must protect the strong person you have created in the minds of others. If someone challenges you, you feel you must answer. If someone doubts you, you feel you must prove yourself. If someone succeeds where you wanted to succeed, you may feel that their success takes something away from you. The strange part is that this can look like power from the outside, but inside, it creates a constant need to react. Your peace now depends on other people. Your confidence depends on their approval. Your sense of worth depends on staying ahead. That is not complete. Freedom. And this is where the old wisdom of Taoism begins to change the picture. The Tao does not teach strength as constant force. It points towards something more natural, something that does not need to fight for its place every moment. Think about water. It does not need to prove that it is powerful. It does not become stronger by shouting. It simply moves, finds its way, and keeps going. There is a lesson here. When you act only to build an image, every action carries tension. You are not just doing something. You are also watching how others react to it. But when you act from a quiet sense of who you are, there is less to defend. You can speak without needing to win. You can stay silent without feeling weak. You can succeed without needing everyone to notice. And slowly, strength becomes something you have, not something you have to display. But this raises a harder question. If real strength does not need to be proven, then what does it mean to act without forcing yourself or the world around you? There is a kind of strength that becomes more powerful when it stops pushing. At first, this can feel strange. We are taught to fight for what we want, to speak louder, to stand our ground, to make people listen. If something blocks our path, we are told to push harder. But life does not always work that way. Sometimes the harder you push, the more tired you become. You fight an argument that did not need to be won. You try to control someone who cannot be controlled. You force an outcome that is simply not ready, and slowly, your strength turns into struggle. Taoism offers a different way of seeing this. One of its deepest ideas is called Wu Wei. In simple terms, it means acting without unnecessary force. It does not mean doing nothing. It means knowing when to move, when to wait, when to bend, and when to stop pushing against something that will not move. Think of a tree in strong wind. A stiff branch may fight the wind until it breaks. A flexible branch moves with it. It bends, gives space, and then rises again. The tree is not weak because it bends. Its ability to bend is part of its strength. Human beings can be the same. A strong person does not need to win every argument. They do not need to answer every insult. They do not need to control every person in the room. They can choose their response. That choice matters. When you are always trying to prove that you are strong, every challenge becomes a threat. Every disagreement becomes a battle. Every failure feels like an attack on who you are. But when you stop needing to prove yourself, something changes. You have more room to see what is really happening. You can act instead of simply reacting. You can listen without feeling smaller. You can step back without feeling defeated. This is the quiet power of Taoist strength. It does not waste energy trying to control everything. It works with what is already there, and this may be why the strongest people often need less attention. They are not using every moment to build an image of strength. They are simply living from a deeper place. But there is still a difficult part. When you stop proving yourself, you may feel invisible at first, and that raises a deeper question. Who are you when nobody is watching? Praising or confirming that you are strong? At first, letting go of the need to be seen can feel uncomfortable. You may notice that you no longer explain yourself as much. You stop trying to win every argument. You do not rush to show people that you were right, and strangely, this can feel like losing something. For a long time, being understood may have felt important. Being praised felt good. Being respected made you feel safe. But when your worth depends on these things, you are always waiting for someone else to tell you that you are enough. Quiet strength begins when that waiting starts to end. You can hear criticism without letting it decide who you are. You can see someone succeed without feeling that their success makes you smaller. You can make a choice without needing everyone to understand it, and you can stay quiet without feeling that silence means weakness. This does not mean you stop caring about people. It means you stop asking every person to confirm your value. Your relationships become lighter because you are no longer trying to prove something through them. You can listen without needing to impress. You can help without needing praise. You can walk away from an argument without feeling that you lost. But this freedom is not always easy. The world often rewards people who make themselves visible. Show your success. Share your achievements. Defend your name. Make sure people know what you can do. There is nothing wrong with any of that. The danger comes when you're whole. Identity depends on it. Taoist wisdom points us back to something much simpler. You do not have to build a great image of yourself before you can feel strong. You can let the image become smaller. You can return to what is already there. Your worth does not rise when people praise you. It does not fall when they ignore you. That is a quiet kind of freedom, and over time, something changes inside you. You stop asking, how do they see me? You begin asking, who am I when I do not need them to see me at all? That question can change the way you live, because once strength no longer needs to be displayed, You are finally free to use it for something more important. You can live without constantly protecting an image of yourself. And then the question becomes simple, but much deeper. What does a strong person do with that freedom? There was a time when being seen may have felt like proof that you mattered. You wanted people to notice your work. You wanted respect. You wanted others to understand your choices. When someone praised you, you felt stronger. When they ignored you, something inside you felt smaller. But now you can begin to see the difference. Strength does not always need an audience. A strong person can succeed without making others feel small. They can be good at something without needing to remind everyone. They can stay quiet in an argument without feeling that they have lost. They can even walk away, not because they are afraid, because they no longer need every battle to prove who they are. This is where the deeper lesson of Taoism becomes clear. Real strength is not about becoming louder. It is not about controlling every person or every situation. It is not about building an image that everyone must respect. It is about becoming steady inside. When your worth is not tied to praise, criticism loses some of its power over you. When you stop comparing yourself with others, their success no longer feels like your failure. When you stop forcing people to understand you, you gain the freedom to simply live. You no longer have to explain every choice. You no longer have to answer every opinion. You no longer have to prove that you are strong. And this does not make you smaller. It makes you harder to control. Someone can misunderstand you, and you can still remain at peace. Someone can ignore you, and you can still know your value. Someone can disagree with you, and you do not have to become someone else just to win their approval. This is the quiet freedom that comes when strength becomes part of who you are instead of something you perform. The world may never notice all of it, and that is okay. A tree does not become less of a tree because nobody is looking at it. The river does not stop moving because no one praises its path. In the same way, your strength does not become less real when nobody sees it. Maybe that is what the strongest people understand. They do not need to disappear from the world. They simply stop asking the world to tell them who they are, and once you no longer need to be seen, you have something precious left. Your attention, your energy, your peace. You can stop spending them on proving that you matter. You can use them to live, to grow, to love, to choose, to simply be. Perhaps the deepest form of strength is not becoming someone everyone notices. It is becoming someone who no longer needs to be noticed to feel whole.